Hello, welcome everyone today with my good friend Dave SHILLITO, entrepreneur, mentor, coach, also with his excellent brand, Business Model Mastery.
Yeah.
It's helped me tremendously. Today we're going to talk about the 8 fundamental pillars of business marketing.
Yeah.
And the difference between marketing and selling, and there is a difference. So before I go over to my good friend Dave SHILLITO, I'm going to ask you a quick question. So Dave, what is pillar number 1 and why is it so fundamental?
Raj, it's good to see you, my friend. I hope everything's okay with you. Yeah, awesome. These are the 8 fundamental pillars of business. I'm sure if people checked that crazy Google machine, they would, and just put in what are the fundamentals of business, they'd see hundreds of people's opinions. But this is just mine through my lens after 3 decades of slugging it out in the prison yard of business. These are the 8 things that I think if they're missing, that your viewers and listeners are going to really struggle. So these are only my opinions, but it's based on my personal observations. Now, what we're covering today is marketing versus selling. But first, I want to set the scene. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and click share screen here. Share. Boop. There we are. So the first, can everybody see that? Can you see that, Raj?
Yes.
7 surprising truths. So I want to set the scene here because this is what I have experienced. And this is a nice little scene setter, if you like, for a more serious point. So what I'd like to do first is run through these 7 surprising truths. 7 surprising truths. And the first one is that Cleopatra lived closer to the building of Pizza Hut than the building of the pyramids. Wow. I know that's crazy, isn't it? The Great Pyramid, I'm reading this now, the Great Pyramid was built around 2560 BC, but Cleopatra lived around 30 BC. Right. So the first Pizza Hut opened in 1958, which is about 500 years closer. That's bonkers, isn't it? Next surprising truth.
Crazy.
The first pyramids were built whilst the woolly mammoth was still alive.
Wow.
Really?
I didn't realize that at all.
While most mammoths died out long before civilizations arose, a small population survived until 1650 BC. Crazy. But by then, the pyramids were already 1,000 years old. Another surprising truth, the fax machine was invented the same year that people were on the Oregon Trail, out west in America. First fax machine, okay, it didn't look like that, but the first fax machine was designed by Alexander Bain in 1843, and that's the same year that people were doing the wagon thing going out west. Here's another surprising truth. France was still executing people by guillotine after Star Wars came out.
Wow, that's
very bonkers, isn't it? Star Wars premiered in theatres in May 1977.
I remember.
And the last execution by guillotine took place in September the 10th of the same year. Wow. That is crazy. And for your viewers, I've not gone mad. This is going somewhere. Right, so we've got T-Rex and Stegosaurus fighting. This never happened. Stegosaurus lived about 150 million years ago and T-Rex about 65 million years ago. They never met. Bonkers. There are whales alive today were born before Moby Dick was written. How crazy is that? There are some big bowhead whales living off the coast of Alaska that are well over 200 years old. And they were born well before Moby Dick was written in 1851. So where is all this going? Why, apart from being entertaining, where is all this going? Now, this hasn't rendered properly because I'm trying to run PowerPoint on a Mac here. Really tech savvy, aren't I? But the 7th surprising truth is that very few people really know what they're doing most of the time.
This I found particularly shocking.
Yeah, most professionals, like those folks in the photo there, most professionals that you see in smart suits and shiny shoes, as you've probably suspected, all your adult life, are plagued with self-doubt. And for good reason. They get a lot of stuff wrong, right? Last year, actually, I wrote this last year, so this will be in 2018, 430 billion pounds, not dollars, pounds, was spent on advertising worldwide, and at least 300 billion was wasted. Mostly thanks to Madison Avenue ad agencies doing brand awareness campaigns, which is a completely different thing, right? So I don't know if your viewers can see this. This is just basically an illustration of how much it costs to do an advert on the telly at 7:30. See, 7:30 here in the middle of Coronation Street. These are all the regions. So if you were going to do this nationwide, a one single advert in one slot, 51,000 pounds. So let's say that this advert, that one single advert, was for a Renault car. Can anybody say how many more cars were sold because of that 51 grand ad spend?
No, it's not linked to anything.
No, they cannot. And now the ad agencies love this because they don't want to be held accountable. This is where the 300 million goes, totally wasted. You can't manage what you can't measure. So here's a quick quiz. That shouldn't have stacked like that. I hope your viewers will forgive me. Which battery company uses a pink furry bunny in their ads? Is it Energizer or is it Duracell? Energizer or Duracell? Which battery?
I got this wrong. I thought it was Energizer.
Yep. It's about 50-50. Some people think Energizer, other people go, yes, it's Duracell. The truth is both. Both. Why would these battery companies choose the same avatar? Don't make much sense. Don't make any sense. Anyway, my point is that this amount of money that is being spent proves that most people don't know what they're doing most of the time, especially when it comes to commerce. They really don't. So let me see where I've got to. Let's talk about the difference between marketing and selling. What is the difference between marketing and selling, and why is it fundamental? Why is it important that we get this locked down, right? It's not only knowing the difference between marketing and selling at a gut level, but also at an intellectual level. But beyond this also, you have to really be able to articulate the difference. As a business person, I know this may seem fundamental, but as a business person, if you ask the average person, even successful business people, okay, what is the difference between marketing and selling? The activity you're doing right now, is it a function of marketing or selling? What is the difference between marketing and selling? Now, most business people go, no. You have to be able to articulate it so it's clear in your mind.
Absolutely.
You have to actually be able to say out of your own mouth, what is the difference between marketing and selling? So, what is the difference between marketing and selling? I hear you ask. Okay, well, it's about having clarity, as I've said, about the difference, because this proves insight. If you can articulate the difference, it proves insight. So let's have a look at marketing first. Marketing is the process by which any form of advertising causes strangers to put their paw in the air as interested in what's on offer. It often tells them what to do next, right? But marketing is about getting strangers to put their hands in the air. Until they do this, they remain strangers. But as soon as they put their hand in the air, the vendor can go, oh, I can see you now. Right? So that's what marketing is. It's getting strangers to identify themselves as being interested in what's on offer. So that is the goal of marketing. It's to convert a steady stream of strangers into prospects or leads, if you like. Okay. And deliver those strangers into the top of a sales funnel. I'm sure you all have heard of what a sales funnel is. To deliver those strangers into the top of a sales funnel. And in the top of the funnel, that's where businesses can start a conversation. So this could be getting people to join your email list or whatever it may be. However it is that they put their hand up, it's usually joining an email list, but not always. But that's another pillar for another time. Just want to focus on what marketing is. So marketing delivers those strangers into the top of a funnel of some sort where the vendor then can start a conversation. Right?
Right.
Start a conversation. So now the new lead has handed over their contact details. They're basically giving the vendor their tacit permission to contact them again. So why would somebody do this? Why would somebody put their hand up? Well, you can get people to put their hand up by offering them some tasty bait, something that's really in tune with their hopes and dreams and goals, desires and ambitions, or addresses their fears. Usually it's one problem, one solution, but we're getting too much of a deep dive there. The point is that you'll have seen this on that crazy Tinterwebs thing that's catching on, that often people will try and stop the scroll and they'll offer you something interesting in harmony with what it is you want to do, where it is you want to go, what you're trying to achieve. So it might be a video, it might be a free report, it might be something just to get you as a stranger to put your paw in the air and say, I'm interested in that. I'm interested enough to give you my email address, right? So that's what they'll do. They'll give you the contact details in exchange for your promise to solve their problem. And at that moment, when they hand over their contact details, all the marketing is done. So as a quick recap, marketing is the process of getting strangers to put their paw in the air and bringing them into a conversation, offering them something of value to them, their lives or their businesses, usually something that solves a problem. Sometimes it's a problem they didn't even know they had. And they hand over their contact details, and at that point, the marketing process has come to an end. With me so far?
Yes, very interesting.
Cool in the gang. So
very interesting.
Sorry, it's the syntax on the Zoom thing here.
Yeah.
So let's now talk about selling. Selling. Selling is everything that happens from that point onwards. So they're in the top of the funnel, they've handed over their contact details, you've started a conversation with them. So selling is everything that happens from that point onwards. It's the successful conversion of those somewhat already self-qualified leads, prospects, into like your actual paying customers, right? So this important difference explains, if you think about it, why efficient and repeatable marketing systems, lead flow, in other words, is more important than sales systems. This is why it's important to know the difference between marketing and selling, because if you don't know the difference and you can't articulate the difference, you'll never know why, in my humble but relentlessly accurate opinion, the marketing is far more important than selling. So if somebody was to say to me, okay, Dave, smart pant, which is more important? Is it marketing or is it selling? I would say it's marketing all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. And I'm going to explain why. If your salespeople or sales materials or sales processes or systems or whatever are not quite up to scratch, right? Your sales systems are poor, or your salespeople are not well trained, or whatever it may be. They don't know all the latest clauses. Then that means you'll burn through all the leads for that day. You'll burn through all that wasted energy from the marketing for that day. It's all gone because the salespeople didn't really know what to do with those pre-interested, pre-motivated, pre-qualified prospects that have just tumbled into the top of your sales funnel. They don't really know what to do with them. Now, that can prove costly if you've paid to get them, right? If you've paid for their leads, but it's not fatal. It's not fatal. Because if your marketing systems that bring those strangers to the front door in the first place is working well, and a new batch of people who you've never seen or heard from before, all with their hands in the air, are queuing up outside your front door or are coming to your website again tomorrow, everything's okay because you can fix your sales systems. the people who are coming to your sales processes tomorrow don't know that you messed up the previous day. They're coming to fresh sales processes, fresh sales materials. And so you can constantly tweak and improve your salespeople, sales processes and sales materials. And you've got a new, fresh batch of bushy-tailed prospects to try and convert the next day or the next hour. You with me?
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing of it. Even if your salespeople and their materials and their closing skills and techniques and their phone skills are all down to a point, yeah, you put them in front of somebody and they'll close them all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. Brilliant. But if they've nobody to talk to, they can't do their job. Right? If they've got nobody to use these sales skills on, they've got nobody to talk to. So this, in my opinion, is why marketing is more important than sales. Now, I'm not saying that sales processes are not important. Of course they are. I've been a professional salesperson for 3 decades, but that's not the point. The point is that without marketing systems in place, a way of constantly getting a moving feast of strangers to put the hand in the air and say, I'm interested in what you do, then all the wonderful sales processes and salespeople and sales materials are not going to help you if you've got nobody to talk to, right?
Exactly.
So there we are. So risk of repeating good marketing but poor sales can be fixed. But poor marketing is not going to save your company. No matter how good the sales processes are. So does that make sense to you so far, Raj?
It makes absolute sense. I mean, I've learned something there, because I always thought that marketing and selling were the same. But obviously, as you quite rightly explained, they're different. And it's very important, the fundamental, that you realize you get the difference between marketing and selling, is because it provides clarity and insight, which probably leads me to my next question.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we get to the I know you've got a few questions to ask me, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
It might be helpful to your viewers and listeners, if you're doing a podcast, for me to give you some examples.
Yes, go ahead. Give me some examples. That'd be great.
Of what the difference is between marketing activities, marketing things, and selling things.
Yes.
Would that be helpful, do you think? I mean,
it would be absolutely helpful and
there
very
are a
useful.
few blurred lines. Sorry, I know we keep speaking over each other, don't we?
It's all right. Go on, Dave.
There are a few blurred lines between the two. I mean, for example, email marketing. Those two words are usually put together. Email marketing. This would suggest that email is a marketing strategy, wouldn't it? But in truth, it was your marketing that got the prospect onto your email list in the first place. And it's the broadcasting of those regular emails that is a permission-based sales strategy. So the lines are a little blurred occasionally. But in the main, the 30,000-foot view is that the activities are quite clear-cut. That might just be juggling semantics, the email marketing thing. So using our definition of marketing, which is any form of advertising that drives interest, gets strangers to put their hands in the air. What could that be? Well, it could be print. Newspapers, direct mail, postcards, leaflets, business cards, right? Facebook. Facebook sponsored posts, paid ads, video ads, it's all marketing. Facebook organic content posts, it's all marketing. TV and cable ads, if your pocketbook will stretch that. Google search, SEO, AdWords, adverts, Google display, banners, for instance. Bing, Instagram, Twitter ads. It's all marketing. Organic videos on Facebook Live or YouTube. List building. That's another topic for another day. What else have we got in the marketing arena? Celebrity endorsement. We like to think that we're very sophisticated, but we're not actually. because we're subject to something called the wisdom of crowds, which is a completely different topic. But if we think we're not influenced by the power of celebrity and the choices that they make, we are, either positively or negatively. So celebrity endorsement is, again, marketing. It's likely to influence a stranger to put their hand in there as what we're interested in. You know, if one of the singers from Oasis stepped on stage with a Netto t-shirt on, you wouldn't be able to buy Netto t-shirts the next day for love nor money. Celebrity endorsement. USPs, unique selling propositions, which is important enough to have its own pillar. So we'll talk about that later. Testimonials. Testimonials. That's potent enough to have its own pillar, but it's still all marketing. Remember, we're only talking about marketing up to this point. Even down to how your staff answer the phone or reply to email. Everything I've mentioned is all marketing. All those things are designed to get strangers to put their paw in the air and say, I'm interested. With me?
Yeah.
Now, the sales process is then getting them to put that hand from the air and into their pocket to grab some money, right? Marketing, sales. So, sales is any strategy or tactic that converts that established interest into money. So these could be funnel steps, right? You put these people at the top of the funnel. What happens to them as they drop down the funnel? Funnel steps. Things called ascension ladders, email sequences, live presentations, like this one. Objection handling and closing. That's all sales. Web pages with buy buttons. Upsells, cross-sells, one-time offers. These are all functions of sales processes. Amazon listings, eBay listings, Groupon, right? If somebody said, well, you know, if I put something for sale on Amazon or on eBay, is that selling or marketing? It's selling. Who did the marketing? Yeah. The platform did the marketing. The eyeballs are already there. If you think about it, you advertise on, or even just go and visit eBay or Amazon, all the eyeballs are already on the platform. You all don't need to do any marketing to get interested, pre-motivated eyeballs to those platforms. They're already there. Marketing's done. So one of the most common mistakes that small business owners make is confusing marketing activity with selling activities. I'm sure you would agree. So
definitely.
Just to recap, at risk of repeating, which is something I do, I'm apologizing for that. Marketing strategies and tactics get strangers to put their hand up as interested in your offer. And sales strategies and tactics get them to put their hand in the pocket and turn that established interest into money. So, last thing I will say on this, as if the last thing I'll say on this is, let's say, for instance, you have plenty of people coming to your shop, or you have plenty of people coming to your website, but they're not buying as much as you'd like, or they're not buying anything. So, do you have a sales problem, or do you have a marketing problem? If you've got plenty of people coming to your website or coming through your shop doorway, but they're not spending as much money as you'd like, is that a selling problem or is it a marketing problem? The answer is it's a sales problem. So if you're in that situation where you can see from your stats package or whatever, or from your webmaster if you're not that savvy, or you can see that people are coming through the door of your shop, but nobody's buying anything, you all don't need to make up any more adverts. You don't need to do any more advertising until you fix why they aren't buying. And why they aren't buying is a problem you've got with sales and your sales process. Is that clear?
Yeah, like you said earlier, with the sales systems, you can fix those because the person's got, say, the retailer or the online retailer's got not a marketing problem because they're getting traction. Yes. Customers are coming in, but they're not buying. So you could fix that.
Yeah, in its purest childlike sense, if somebody walks through your shop doorway and they're browsing and you say to them, "Is there anything I can help you with, madam?" And they say, "No, thanks. I'm just looking." Boom, bang. Do you know what that was? That was the sound of the conversation door slamming behind you. Why? Because you asked a closed question. You asked a question, the answer to which could be no. "Can I help you, madam?" "No." Oh! So that person walks out the shop without buying, and you think, you know what? I'm not going to do that again. So the next person comes through and they're looking at, well, let's say you're selling jackets or clothing. So the next person, you think, you know what? I'm not going to ask them if they need any help because they could say no to that. I'm going to try and start a conversation. Start a conversation. So you approach that person and go, "Hello, are you looking for something for work or for leisure?" You can't answer that question with the word no. You've got to be engaged in conversation. They've got to say, "Oh, work," or they might say, "I'm just browsing, thanks," but at least you tried. This is about changing your sales approach. People are still coming through the door. If they're coming through the door, you can try a new approach. If they're not coming through the door, the technical term for that is so I hope that's clear.
Yeah, that's crystal clear. Thanks for giving that explanation.
Sure.
Do you have any other examples of marketing and selling?
These are fundamentals because there is a penalty to pay, in my opinion, if you don't get this locked down. So if you're asking me, what happens if this is missing? The answer to that would be that, yeah, if people watching this have not nailed down in their own heart, in their own mind, well enough for them to be able to re-articulate what the difference is. Which is this.
What happens if this pillar is missing?
Yeah. If it's missing, they can't articulate what the difference between this and that is. The difference between putting your hand up as being interested and putting the hand into the pocket and getting the money out. Those are two completely different functions. This is marketing and this is selling.
This is selling.
Right. So until you've got that clear, if you don't know, if you've not got that clear, and now we've explained it and gone through it, I'm sure it's clear to everybody watching or listening to this, you'll never know why marketing is more important than selling. Somebody could say, "Oh, I think selling's more important than marketing," and you wouldn't be able to go, "Really? Here's why I don't think that's right. I think marketing's more important than selling," and you'd be able to explain to them that the best salespeople and processes in the world are no good if you've got nobody to talk to. You know. So that's what happens if you don't have this locked down. In conclusion, what was it you asked me? Oh, about hidden benefits. That's right. Are there any
hidden benefits?
Hidden benefits, yeah.
Get this sorted.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we only I think the hidden benefit of getting this locked down is we only have so much time and energy. So much time and energy in any one day. Let's say that you're working on the tools, you're out there and you're bricky or plasterer, sparky or what have you, and you come home from a day's work and you're having your tea, the kids are in bed and you're thinking, right, I need to be working on the business, not in the business. Before I finally collapse exhausted, I can probably do, 40 minutes figuring out how I can improve my business. You really need to know what to be working on. So unless you can articulate, unless you know in your heart what the difference is between selling and marketing, you can't think to yourself, okay, well, that advert that I'm running in the local paper or on Google Local is working well. I'm getting plenty of inquiries, but I don't seem to be booking many jobs. You know that you've got a sales and presentation problem. But if you're thinking that advert that I've got on Google Local or in the local paper, I'm not getting any inquiries from that. Well, then that's marketing, and you'll need to fix that sooner rather than later. So if you're the type of person who every time you get in somebody's house, you get the job, right? So if you're like a bricky or a sparky or whatever it may be, I'm just using basic examples, but every time you get into somebody's house and have a look around what they need doing, more often than not, you get the job. then you don't have a sales problem. People like you, they trust you. And so that's not the problem. If you're just simply not getting in enough people's houses, that's a marketing problem.
Marketing problem.
So at its most basic level, it's about saving time, because we business people do suffer from something that's not often recognized, which is what I call decision fatigue. Decision fatigue, yeah. So there's a good reason why Steve Jobs, God rest his soul, and Mark Zuckerberg wore the same clothes every day. And that was because they know when they get to work, their day is filled with making decision after decision. And they also recognize that we only as humans have a capacity for making so many decisions. We can only make so many decisions. I mean, I'm sure when you've had a day at work and you come home and Kaveri asks you what you want for tea, if you've been making decisions all day, you'd be like, whatever, love, as long as it's warm and hot and it's tasty. You know what my favourites are? Just make some, because you're like, I'm exhausted, I can't make any more decisions. And so, you know, these titans of digital industry know, or any industry know, that you only can make so many decisions. And one of the things that the Jobs and the Zuckerbergs of this world don't want to be deciding is, now I've got 50 pairs of pants and 5 belts and 30 shirts and 20 ties, and what goes with what, and what colour shoes. Oh, no. So this is why they wear the same things every day, because they don't want to be wasting any of this limited resource making decisions, making important decisions on what to bloody wear. So they wear the same thing every day. The final thing that I would say is that it's not just my opinion that marketing is more important than selling. One of the most famous business people in the world has ever seen, a guy called Peter Drucker, who your viewers may have seen. He once said that the aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous.
Mm.
The aim of good marketing is to make selling superfluous or redundant. And there's a meme on the internet about that, and it's basically, take my money, right? So people see something, and on first sight they go, ooh, I want that. No selling involved, right? It's raining, somebody hands you an umbrella and says, give me £2 for the umbrella. You're like, was it here? How difficult was that to sell? Right? So that's the point that I'm trying to make. If your marketing is really good, it's on point, it's targeted, you're speaking only to people who have the problem that you can solve, and they're coming through the door pre-interested, pre-motivated and pre-qualified before they get to the top of the funnel or come through your door, your marketing's done a really, really good job of specifying who you want on your website or who you want coming through your shop door. They're all ready to buy. They've basically got the pour and the money. They're looking for something to buy. But if they come in there and they're like, well, I'm kind of interested. Well, I'll give you 10 seconds, which is the average. Actually, I'm being generous there. It's more than the average time on web page. You know, if you can keep somebody's attention for 10 seconds, you're doing really well in that Tinterwebs land out there. So that's my final point, what Peter Drucker said. Yeah, what Peter said. Which was, if the aim of marketing is to be so good, it makes the process of selling superfluous. So I hope that's been of some value and some use, and people have learnt something from my opinion about why marketing is more important than selling.
I totally agree with you, Dave. Everything you said. Even when I've been listening to you today, finding out the differences between marketing and selling, and see the quote from Peter Drucker. Obviously, this is the first pillar of the 8 fundamental pillars of business marketing.
Yes.
So we've got another 7 pillars to go.
Yeah.
But I just want to thank you for taking the time out today to speaking to us and to our viewers out there. Until next time.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll do it again soon. There are another 7 more of these. If people are interested, then just follow the links that Rajesh is going to be giving you. Just follow the clues, and you may get access to more of the gooey goodness.
That's great. Thank you today.
Yeah, no problem. You're welcome. See you later, folks. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye bye. Bye, Dave.